Run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts, and I've been doing that going on 6 years and change now, which means for 6 years and change, I've been attempting to solve the problem you guys are all trying to solve, which is how do you go from hobbyist to actual art business that can potentially support you and your family and grow a real business rather than just talking about it or rather than just having a hobby. In addition to working for a long time on how to apply digital marketing specifically to selling art and photography, I've been running 3 of these sessions a week, essentially before the pandemic hit, so for a year and change. And you do that, you have enough conversations with artists and photographers, pattern recognition becomes a real thing. I've heard everything, I've seen everything, every situation imaginable, every question you could potentially have has come up, and we've attempted to do our best to answer it. And as a final, I think we have 57 or so hundred customers at Art Storefronts now, and we study their data. We study their data very intently. It sort of gives us a competitive edge that many don't have, because I get to see who's selling the most originals. I get to see who's selling the highest volume of originals. I get to see who's selling the most commissions, who's selling the most prints, who's selling the most metal prints and canvas prints and paper prints and frame prints, who's the best at Instagram, who's the best at Facebook, who's the best at gathering leads, how many sales are people having a year, who's selling the most merch, right? Who's selling the highest volume of pieces. We study all of these things very, very intently, by which I mean, how are they doing this? And we look at everything that they're doing, and it gives us some pretty unique insights. I feel like I can speak with authority on what is actually working to build real art businesses, real photography businesses in today's day and age. So all of that is to say, no matter what, whether you guys ever sign up for Art Storefronts or not, I want this session to be valuable. I want you to leave with some actionable intel, something that you can bolt into your business starting today to actually start delivering value. So let me go over sort of the agenda for the call, and then we can kick things off. I'm going to start with a little bit of a presentation up top, and it sits at like the very top of everything that we do at Art Storefront. It's sort of a way that we see the industry. It's a way that we believe a successful art or photography business is built. There's a number of premises in it that you sort of need to agree with to understand everything else that we do. And I'm going to go through the presentation. I'll talk more about that in a second. The next step after the presentation, if you sort of agree and you're nodding your head with the vision of this industry as I'm about to lay it out, then the next step is what we call the demo process. And, it's like test driving a car without the cheesy salesman. Sorry if there's a car salesman on here. But you get to see all the bells and whistles and smell the car and play with all the knobs. And what happens is you fill out a little form. You give us some information how we can contact you. Somebody from the outreach team reaches out, gets to know you, takes a look at your art. You can talk about prices and the in-depth plans and all of that, and then they'll schedule the demo, which is like a Zoom call, a one-on-one Zoom call with you and a member of our team that goes through all the software, all the bells, all the whistles, all the marketing, everything that we do. But we've got to start with the presentation, because there's a lot of people that get some of the fundamentals wrong. And we believe very firmly that if you do get the fundamentals wrong, it's very, very difficult to succeed. So I'm going to start with that in a second. As I'm rolling along, a couple of sort of ground rules, just things to be aware of. One, after this whole thing's over, we wait till the video's ready, we put it in a web page, and we send you the web page after the fact. So not only will there be a replay of this, but I'm going to end up mentioning like a bunch of links and articles and PDFs and videos and the like. We're going to put some of those links in the chat as we roll along. The chat button or the chat windows at the bottom of your Zoom. It's over here on the right-hand side of me, or left-hand side, depending on how this thing is outputting. And so there'll be links in there that you can click if you're so inclined. Don't worry about it if you don't want to. You can just pay attention, and then after the fact, like I said, I'm going to send you the web page. It's going to have the video, have everything in it. So that's that. In addition to that, as the session rolls along, if you've got a question and you just want to get it out of your head, you can throw that in the chat. And then on the tail end of the presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to get into Q&A, and I can answer it then, or maybe even members of the team will answer it. If you're one of the ones watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I can see your questions. Thank you for that, Stacy. And if you've got questions there, you can leave them there, and I'll pull those right into the stream, and we'll answer those sort of as we roll along. So, all right, let's get it going. Did I forget anything? I don't know. I don't think so. Juan, will you quickly just send a message to Joseph in Slack and say thank you for sending the emails, because it's made a difference on attendance. Okay, so let me get my screen share, get my fat head out of the middle. So I've come up with this concept to sort of explain what we believe, and I've called it the art selling pyramid, okay? And I've got it subtitled, it's the path to a successful art business in 2021 and beyond. And the level of firmness in which I believe in this pyramid, I can't begin to tell you. It is just gospel truth as far as what I've seen, and continues to be so, will continue to do so. Why is it a pyramid? Because I stole it from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, okay? I'm not sure if you're familiar with this thing, but the idea is a pyramid. We have to sort the blocks on the bottom, and then once we get those sorted, we can start moving up one block at a time, right? And so in Maslow's case, you got the physiological needs, eating and sleeping. We need to do that every single solitary day, all of us. Once that's secure, you can start working on safety and fitness and money, love, belonging, esteem, self-actualization, wonderful, all that jazz. So the art marketing or the art selling pyramid is the same thing. And the bottom block is attention, okay? And I'm here to tell you that attention is the currency of the land that we live in right now. With attention, you can do absolutely anything. Without it, you're not in the game. Yes, it's eyeballs. Yes, it's email addresses and snail mail addresses and text message or phone numbers if you're text marketing, or Facebook fans or Instagram followers. All collectively, that's attention. It's eyeballs. It's the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this call has. I know conclusively, without having to ask a single one of you a question, that you all need more attention, more eyeballs to sell your art or your photography. It is the biggest problem you have, and it's not even close. The reason I can say this so conclusively is because I have some customers that are knocking on the $1 million a year door. And is that extremely rare? Yes, it is. But guess what? Those people want to go to $5 million a year. You know what they need to do that? More attention. The person that's never sold anything at all needs attention, needs eyeballs. How do you solve for attention? In a word, it's marketing. But also, one of the craziest things about it is I would love to sit here and tell you in 2021, the best art wins. The most talented artist wins. The most talented photographer wins. And sadly, nothing could be further from the truth. Not the case. It's not the best art or the best photography that wins, you know, notwithstanding the subjective nature of that statement, but it's the best photography or art that gets seen wins, okay? It is, sadly, today's day and age, if you want to try and grow a successful business, not be a hobbyist, have an actual business, it is not a meritocracy at first at how good you are at your craft. It's a meritocracy at how good you are at your marketing. And those are just the truth. That's just the truth, a fundamental truth of the world that we live in. And sort of to take it out of the art market and put it in different terms, if I was to ask any of you guys on this call, can you name for me some of the most powerful women in the entire world, how would you answer? It's sort of a trick question. There's a lot of ways to answer it, right? The way I reply is the Kardashians / Jenners. Now, we can all, okay, have an argument about morally how these lovely ladies acquired the attention. What we cannot argue about is what these wonderful women have been able to do with it, okay? They haven't exactly flown commercial in 15 years, all right? They all have $10 to $100 million businesses, depending on how you believe it. And how does it apply to art? If any of these surgically altered, well-endowed women decided to become artists or photographers tomorrow, they would have a $10 million a year business year one. I don't care if they were painting stick figures or taking out-of-focus cell phone shots with the iPhone. They would have a business that big because attention is the currency of the land that we live in today. Full stop, no getting around it. And no different than Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the physiological needs are daily, eating and sleeping. You have to be working on getting more attention to grow your business, and it is a daily quotidian task. Just is. And trust me, I know almost conclusively, it's a bit of a blanket statement, but all artists, all photographers, generally speaking, suck at marketing. Just truth, okay? I don't know how it works out, but the Venn diagrams, okay, between the marketing business savvy mind and the creative mind, the way that God or whoever you believe created us, they just don't overlap for whatever reason. They really just don't. So it's a huge issue. It's the biggest issue in this entire industry. Next block up, there's an outer portion and an inner portion. The outer portion is the business model, okay? And I already know on this call, there's a whole lot of artists, a whole lot of photographers that have had wonderful and storied careers, but they got the business model wrong. You got the business model wrong. What is the business model? You have to sell direct to the end consumer. You have to sell direct to the end consumer with no intermediaries, such that you are able to retain the information on who purchases your work. With that information, you have the ability to market to that person in perpetuity for the rest of your career. If you get that one wrong, it is, I honestly, you might as well play the lotto. That's what it does to the odds of making a successful art of photography business if you are not maintaining the information on who is purchasing your work. And when you maintain the information on who is purchasing your work, you can focus on number 2 there, which is called building a collector list, okay? And I've been doing this a long time now, and I've seen a lot of data, and I would go as far to say the size and the health of a collector list is either the number 1 or the number 2 most important metric in an art of photography business. The size of it, the health of it, how well it's been taken care of and communicated with, number 1 most important metric. And I I borrowed the collector list concept from this book, Don't Be a Starving Artist. Okay, why would you want to read this book? Number 1, it's really good. Number 2, it's extremely thin. Number 3, it's by Weiland, the whale guy, who's the number 1 best-selling artist in the United States, depending on who you talk to. Apparently, it's not even close. It's sort of annoying that the way that he does this book is I think he's given all the proceeds to charity. That part's not annoying. The annoying part is it's not on Amazon. You have to buy it from his website direct. But anyway, I think you should get it. Weiland defines a collector as someone that will purchase in upwards of 8+ pieces of art from him over the course of their lifetime. And sometimes it's 8 up to 50 pieces, but up there. And Weiland talks about some of the tactical, about how he takes care of his collector list, the extra lengths he goes to, putting them on the Christmas card list, sending them personalized emails, all of that type of jazz. But I've been at this, like I said, long enough now that the power of the collector list is staggering. You guys, artists, photographers, at the end of the day, you're all just commissioned salespeople. If you eat, if you kill, you eat, right? To go caveman status. If you work hard and you make some sales, you get compensated. But guess what? If you don't get out of bed and you don't work on selling, you're not making any money, right? You can have up years and you can have down years. And so you're just a commissioned salesperson at the end of the day. With the collector list, okay, you go from a commissioned salesperson to a commissioned salesperson with a base salary, right? And it starts out small. It starts out like 5, 10, 15 grand a year, but then it slowly goes up from there, because what happens is that you come out with a new collection of work, okay? And let's just keep the math simple and say it's 10 pieces. And you're going to release it to the public on Wednesday. And on Sunday night, you email your collector list and you say, thank you guys so much for your continued support and patronage. You know I love you. I'm coming out with a brand new collection of 10 pieces. I'm going to release it to the public on Wednesday. Because you guys have supported and bought art from me in the past, you get to see it before anyone else. Any and all feedback appreciated. If you're interested in any of the work, let me know. So what happens at first is maybe 1 out of the 10 pieces sells to the collector list right away. 10% of what you created is sold already. It goes up from there. I've seen it as high as 50, 60, 70% with some customers, meaning they came out with 10 pieces that they were going to release to the public. By the time that they did, there were 3 pieces left, right? That is the base salary. It is you guys getting paid for waking up in the morning. It's you getting paid just for creating. And it is so fundamentally important to a successful art business. I can't even begin to tell you, and I continue to be blown away the more and the more I see it. But we'll get more into that later. So that's the outer portion of the block, okay? The inner portion is there are 3 ways to sell art, okay? Art and photography. I am firm in the sense that all artists and photographers, 1, need to understand the 3 ways. And then number 2, deploy each of the 3 ways when the situation calls for it, okay? What's the number 1 way? It's the best way to sell art or photography. You guys all know this trick question. It's in person, face-to-face. Always has been, always will be. That's not ever going to change. Everyone understands how to deploy that in their career. It's very simple. The problem with the in-person is a couple. 1, we are, all of us, geographically fixed on this planet. We all have to sleep, and we're incapable of having 15 conversations at once. So you need to have a website. That's the next way. It solves for all of those situations, right? For people not located in your town, and when you're sleeping, and 50 people on your website at once. So it's also very important to have a website with your artists on it. And I should say, not a portfolio site, okay, not a pretty business card, but a site that is capable of transacting commerce without you having to do anything, okay? Number 3, though, the newest way, the most exciting way, the biggest thing to happen to this industry since forever, okay? And the entire world is trying to figure it out as we speak, which is really exciting. And it is via live video in either a one-to-one or a one-to-many fashion. Okay, let me introduce you to the one-to-one, and then we'll get to the one-to-many. Let's say I follow Christina on Instagram, and I see one of her pieces, and I'm like, ooh, that's super interesting. And so I hit Christina up on her DMs, and I say, Christina, I'm really interested in this piece. I'd love to talk to you about it a little bit. I'm trying to figure out if it's the right piece for a bathroom I'm remodeling. Do you think we could jump on a Zoom call and talk about it? And Christina goes, no problem, Patrick. I'd love to do that with you. And so she shoots me a Zoom link. We jump into a one-on-one video chat. She tells me about the various different pieces that she has, whether they're originals or prints, what the media types are. I get to know her. I get to understand what her inspiration was for the piece. And she has the ability to merchandise and show the work. Incredibly effective way of selling art. The next best way of selling art to being in person, face to face. That's the one-to-one. The one-to-many is super interesting as well. And it is selling art via a live art show, okay? It's essentially, just like this gentleman, longtime Art Storefronts customer and friend, Matthew Laka. He is in his garage studio. He has a selection of his pieces. He is live on the various different social media platforms. He is showing off the pieces. He is merchandising them. He is talking about them. People are able to ask questions in real time. He is responding to them. It is a sale, and in this particular gentleman, so this one was streamed in May. Okay, and this was number 2, and then this one was streamed in, this is July or June of last year, so this is the middle of the pandemic. In this case, this guy is like a traditional dog and pony show artist, meaning he paints for 6 months, has the big gallery show, does the 50-50 split in revenue, and doesn't get to maintain his collector information. This was old inventory that he had from like 10 years ago. He sold over a 15-day period, and these 2 shows are a little bit longer than 15 days. He sold 62 pieces for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian. Amazing, incredible results, right? And after we sort of went through this with him, we were like, oh my gosh, this is the most interesting thing that I have ever seen in my life in terms of moving art. That is an incredible result. Can we duplicate it? Okay. And so we set out the task of duplicating it. And we've since run hundreds of these shows. This particular show is painter, Kansas City. Her name's Meg. She was actually physically moving out of one studio space into another. And so she had a bunch of this stuff laying around. So it's like, she's a painter, obviously. So color studies and sketches and, in between pieces. In this particular show, she had 82 pieces. And by the way, remember what I said about the collector list? So 82 pieces in the show. The show was going to go down on a Wednesday. I think June 3rd was a Wednesday. And she emailed her collector list on Sunday. Her collector list bought 46% of the show before it even started. She ended up selling 72 pieces for a little over $12,000. There's no 50-50 split on that. She's not having to leave her house, and it was incredibly effective. Since then, we have run one after another, every niche imaginable, every subject matter material imaginable, and we just keep running more because this is the future full stop of how art and photography is going to be sold, and it's not even close. It is not even close. The results that I am seeing in these shows make it without question the most exciting way to sell art or photography I have ever seen, and it's not even close, and I'm not the only one that's figuring it out, okay? We're not the only ones. Yours is an industry that does not have a lot of reports, okay? There's 2 big ones. There's the Hiscox report, which comes out yearly, and then there's this one, which is like a collab between Art Basel and UBS Global, okay? They call it the Art Market Report 2021. And a disclaimer on these reports is they're only surveying the top 5% of the art market, and so read people that are all making over 6 figures a year and sometimes many more. But it's a really cool report. It's a cool PDF. They have like a little website section, and then they have the PDF. I'm going to send you links on it. I totally think you should read it. I think you'll get some great ideas. You can see the global art market and auction sales and dealer sales and art fairs and exhibitions and online sales. And if you look at the online sales, and this report's at like some of 2020, some of 2021, basically the whole pandemic. And on online sales, this is an interesting quote. Chapter 5 looks at the online art market in the rapid evolution in sales in 2021. The chapter shows how the dealer sector shifted sales online in 2020 at the development of online viewing rooms, OVRs. And it also shows that the growth, high net worth individuals bought a ton of art in these OVRs. Do you know what an OVR is? It is a snooty way of saying a Zoom call. Okay, OVR, online viewing room. Give me a break. It is a Zoom call in which the high net worth individual is on one side, and on the other side is either the artist or the artist agent, and art is sold. A tremendous amount of art was sold. And my point in showing you that is it doesn't matter if you are just getting started and you're trying to sell your first piece, or if you're the very snooty top of the world and you call your Zoom calls OVRs, okay? Everyone is trying to figure out how to leverage this live art show concept at once in concert, and it's amazing. It is phenomenal. And when I say everyone, it's not even just us in the art industry. Like Amazon is now, anyone can sign up for Amazon and basically run their own QVC show. You can grab the products from Amazon, try and sell them, do your own QVC show. Facebook right now is deploying a whole bunch of these different initiatives with like makeup influencers and the like, where you can buy the product right on Facebook. Video, live video enabled commerce, live video e-commerce, whatever the heck you want to call it, is the future of art and photography sales, full stop. It's not even close. And you got to understand there's a lot of permutations to it, right? Like, you know, I gave you just one instance, but if I go back to my buddy here, so I told you this guy was the normal dog and pony show where he would have a gallery show. So he had, excuse me, he had a gallery show booked in the middle of the pandemic. I'm going to get my fat head out of this. In the middle of the pandemic, okay, during COVID. And obviously, you know, it was open. He had the show, but, you know, it was social distancing and not that many people were allowed in and no one could travel because it was the middle of the pandemic. This was July 24th, 2020. And so what happened? He had the show. He sold as much as he could. By the way, his collector list bought 22% of the show before it started, despite the fact he had to do a 50-50 split on this one. But what we did is the exact same concept is in the basement, which means a laptop was pulled out, a cell phone was pulled out, and, you know, he's rocking his little sleeveless black tank top there, and you walk through the show just like you were in the gallery. He's showing the various different pieces. You can see the red dots on the ones that have already sold, and it's no different than being at the opening. He's talking about his inspiration. He's got his glass of wine in his hand. It's streaming to all the socials. The people couldn't attend it live, attended it after the fact, got to leave questions in real time. He was answering them, and he sold some of the additional pieces that did not sell at the show itself as a result of COVID. You know, and people are asking questions the whole time. It's the future. It's the future of how to sell art and photography, full stop, not even close. And, you know, people ask like, ooh, art storefronts, what do you do? We figure out the best ways to sell art or photography, and then we go all in on them and we teach our customers. And we're really, really good at running these live art shows, not because we're awesome or really good at what we do, but because we've been working very hard at it, harder than anyone else is. And there's a lot of tradecraft to these things, okay? How do you go about them? How do you announce them? How do you handle pricing? How do you quote price? How do you take payment? You do this enough and you start to learn quicker than anyone else, and you learn really valuable lessons. And I can give you an example of a really valuable lesson. I can go back to my buddy Matthew because we run probably like 20 of them with him. If you look at this one, okay, what do you notice? You notice anything about this one? If you look closely, yeah, David's got it figured out. No, not the white gloves. The quality is terrible. You want to know why the quality is terrible? Because his significant other is upstairs watching Netflix when he's trying to run his damn show. You can't have other people in the house watching Netflix, okay? You can't have your kids on the tablet when you're running a live art show. Bandwidth is at a premium. So point being, you learn and you get a ton of tradecraft, and we just keep running more and more and more and more and more of them. And my guess is not one of you on this call has run one. Probably not one of you, right? Like I'm telling you, start running them. You will be blown away at the results that you are achieving. It's staggering. So that's live video. I'm very fired up about it. Okay, great. We're moving up the pyramid. The last block, as you can see, is everything else. But we're working on our attention. We understand the business model. We're building the collector list. We understand that there's 3 ways to sell art. The top block is everything else, okay? Literally everything else. Meaning, do you have a retail art gallery that's paying you? That you have a good relationships with? Fantastic. Keep rocking it. But in addition to working on attention, in addition to selling direct from your website and selling direct and maintaining collector information and building your collector list and the 3 ways of selling art, so too with an online gallery. Have one of those working? Fantastic. Never met a revenue source I don't like, okay? So too with the show and thayer circuit. So too with whatever else you have, but it should be at the top of the pyramid. It should not be at the bottom, okay? And, you know, earlier I alluded to the fact that I've talked to hundreds of you guys. And I have talked to hundreds of you guys. And I mean, week in, week out. I don't think it's hyperbole to say I take more questions from artists and photographers than probably any human being alive, okay? And you do that for long enough, guess what happens? You notice that routinely on a week in, week out basis, you are talking to artists and photographers that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and some even in their 90s that, by the way, know how to use Zoom unassisted, which is amazing. I bring that up to say you got to have the perspective, okay, of how long you guys have to get this right and start working on your business, okay? For whatever reason, creatives, okay, artists, photographers, you're both in the creative bucket, you don't really have midlife crises. You don't all of a sudden wake up at 45 or 55 and decide, you know what, I'm not going to be an artist or photographer anymore. I always wanted to be a professional golfer. I'm going to go do that, right? Like, you guys are artists and photographers for life. Sure, it might vacillate between hobbyist and trying to be a business, but you never stop, right? So the point is that all of you guys have years and years and years and years and decades in many cases, and several decades in many cases, to continue selling your art and growing a business. So if you want to be a hobbyist and just create whatever, all good. I doubt that that's why you're here. You wouldn't be on this call if you just wanted to be a hobbyist. You already know what that looks like and what that entails. You're trying to grow a business. So when you have the perspective, okay, of how much longer you have of a career to be able to sell your art or photography and build a real business year over year, it sets you up for the proper perspective of how long it's going to take for you to learn how to market and build a business. It's ultimately, that's what we do. We teach you how to market and build a business. And let me tell you, first couple of years suck. They suck, right? You're going to be pulling your hair out of your head. Many of you have never done consistent marketing in your life. You've executed on very few sales. You have low social followings, no email addresses. Many are starting from scratch, despite the fact that you've had years and years and years of selling art and probably great gallery relationships, but you didn't maintain a collector list. You didn't maintain an email list. And I'm not blaming you for that. That's just the way things were. The industry's changed. Everything's changed. So it's an entirely new ballgame. So you've got the time to do this. You just need to have the perspective. The perspective sets in place in your head like, you know, I imagine that there are so many of you on this call that has decided 1 year, and it's probably several years, this is going to be my year. I am finally going to take my art business seriously, and I'm really going to grow it. And then you work diligently your marketing for 3 months, and because you don't have the proper ideas about perspective, you didn't get the results in the 3 months that you wanted, and you quit. And then rinse and repeat, right? It's like signing up for the gym membership at the beginning of the year, and then the minute it gets cold, you just stop going in there, right? It's like a devastating cycle that just happens again and again and again. So I find the perspective piece to be so important and also so damn encouraging because, again, like I just week in, week out, there are artists and photographers from every decade, consistently. Like working into their 70s, into their 80s, into their 90s. So contemplate how much time you have to get this thing right and to actually build a business if that's what you want. And if that's what you want, we're very good at teaching people how to do that. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Oh, you know what? One more little note, okay? One more little note before we go, because I think it's important to give things real numbers, real teeth, right? Like everyone loves talking about like, hey, yeah, I'm a successful artist and photographer. I've got a business. I'm doing great. Well, what the hell does that mean, right? Let's give it some teeth and some real numbers. I love this book, okay? I think everybody should buy this book. Is the book 10 years old? Yes, it is. I'm going to send you the link. Don't worry. It's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark, The Curious Economics of Contemporary Art. It's just awesome. It's awesome. You get a ton of killer ideas by reading this thing. But in this book, and again, I think it was published. Let me just make sure so I don't shoot myself in the foot here. 2012. So, it's that many years old. There's a little stat in here, okay? And I just want to read this out to you. And some might find this deflating, but it's real. And in its real numbers, you have to adjust this for inflation. So in the book, it talks about how there are 40,000 artists in residence in London, 40,000 artists in residence in New York, 80,000 artists total, okay? Out of the 80,000, 75 are superstar artists. They're making over $1 million a year. 0.09% of the 80,000, okay? The next tier down are what's called mature, successful, six-figure a year plus artists. So anyone making above six figures all the way to under $1 million, okay? That is 0.38%. So we're not even at a half of a percentage, okay, for the ones that are making that much money. The next tier down is representation plus help. They're under six figures. They either have a side job or they have a supportive spouse or something in between, and that's about 5,000 out of the 80,000. So that's 6.72% out of the 80,000 that calls themselves artists in those two places are actually making something approaching a living out of it, right? Now, those figures look really discouraging, don't they? Like, that's a very small percentage. Are you telling me that 93% of those 80,000 artists are not supporting themselves in the slightest, or essentially just hobbyists, right? Or barely making it? The good news is that I look at those stats, and it's not like I can just go to the Census Bureau and pull data, right? Like, there's not that much information out there about what you guys do. But what's interesting about it is our stats internally are significantly better than what that book talks about. We have multiple artists that are well over the six-figure a year stat range, right? And we only have 5,700 customers. It's not like we're 80,000. So I think the numbers are important to lay some perspective at how things look. And I also think all it does is underscore my art pyramid, okay? You want to have a successful business. You want to stop being a hobbyist. You want to start putting yourself on a path to building a real business, or perhaps you're trying to build retirement income or leave your full-time job or grow your side hustle, whatever it is. You have to take the pyramid seriously, and you have to start working on your marketing. And that's the whole ball game. You do that, you're already putting yourself in the top 10% of artist period, because none of the rest of them are going to do it, okay? The majority of artists and photographers out there, what do? They move from website to website to website because they think they have a website problem. Or they move from marketplace to marketplace to marketplace because they're sold on the dream that there's some magical site where you can just upload your images and not do any work and have a great business. Doesn't work. Complete BS. Complete BS. The number one thing that no artist, no photographer wants to do is work on their marketing. So guess where all the leverage is to build a business, right? It's always in the thing that nobody wants to do. So anyway, that's my presentation. That's my rant. I'm sticking to it. Let's get into questions and open it up. And a couple of things on how the questions work. One, if you're one of the brave ones with your camera on and you have a question, you can do the old school hand raise. I will see that. We'll unmute you and bring you on. If you look at the bottom of the Zoom bar, though, there's like the reactions button you'll see. And you can see that there's a raise hand button on that. That kind of just like forms a queue and lets me know you have a question. You can see that I raised my hand there, and it's up if your participants thing is open. So you can just click on the reactions thing and go from there. In addition to that, if you want to ask a question and you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. I hate being on video. I totally understand that. You can ask via audio, or you can throw your questions in the chat and we will answer those. Or if you are one of the magical ones on social, I see your questions too. Excellent information. Thank you, Recovering Creative, and thank you, Amanda. So I can answer questions that way as well. But you can ask about anything. I do see some of the ones that are coming in the chat already. Linda, looks like Juan sent you the link to the book that you're looking for. Natanya, I can answer your questions in just a second. But yeah, over to you guys. Have questions about what we do. Have questions, something you're struggling with in your business. You have a question about pricing or niche selection or media types or print on demand or anything to do about our software or nothing to do about us. General art marketing questions, art selling questions. I would love to answer them. And I'll just sort of start going through them one at a time. Let me find Natanya. I'm just going to unmute you because you have enough questions going on here that it probably just makes sense to have a chat. If you hit the mic icon, Natanya, on the bottom left-hand corner, then you can just start talking directly. But her first question is, could you talk about your services compared to your competitors, please? And I'm unmuting you, Natanya. I don't know if you want to do that or not. It's okay. Yeah, we don't really have any competitors, to be honest with you. We have competitors in the sense that like there's other companies out there that offer an art selling website, which is all well and good, but none of you guys on this call have a website problem at all. Blanket statement, completely true. Meaning if I was the genie in the lamp and poof, I just came out, the shoes, the hat, the fat belly, the whole thing, and I just said, I will now move your website wherever you want for free in one instance. Boom, I snap my fingers, it's done. Guess what? Your business has not fundamentally changed one iota. You don't have a website problem, okay? You have a marketing problem. No one's coming to your website. That's the biggest problem that you have. And so it's why Shopify, which is like one of the biggest e-commerce sites in the world, has this stat that says 99% of store owners fail. and it's not a knock on their software. It's no one has a website problem. You all have marketing problems. If you have an established business with a ton of traffic, okay, fine, you might have a website problem, but the rest of you just don't. So, Natanda, to answer your question, one, we have a better website software than anyone else does. Again, it's not braggadocio. We've been working this a long time, and we're newer than all our competitors, so the software is better. We've got all the bells and whistles imaginable for selling art and photography online. It's really not even close. So what sets us apart? You know, we get pigeonholed in that we are a website company or a software company, and to a certain extent you can say sure it is, but really what we are is we are an art marketing university, and we teach graduate level how to build a successful art or photography business, and we teach you how to do that all year long, and the learning never stops because the goalposts are always moving. So that would be the biggest way that I would say would set us apart from our competitors, is that we teach our customers to market all year long, and we don't ever stop doing that. Okay, so what else? Working on tuning sets. Could you tell me what makes you better than other artist websites? I thought I answered that. Linda got the book. Lori's asking, what tools do you provide for digital watermarks, or do photos need to be watermarked before uploading? Yeah, Lori, it's a deeply personal decision. To watermark or not. And I'm unmuting you, Lori, if you wanna unmute your mic and we can talk about it. We obviously have the technology set up for you to watermark or not watermark. You certainly can if you want to. I think it's completely unnecessary. I don't think there are people, knowing this business, knowing how difficult it is, there are not people that are going around and illegally downloading images on the internet and reproducing them and selling them and growing huge businesses. It's just not happening. Everyone always talks about how it is. It's not happening. I don't agree with it. So I personally don't like the watermarks. But again, it's a personal decision. So yes, our software allows for them. It makes it very, very easy. You could do it very, very quickly. It's no problem at all. Okay, Lynn's asking, what do you use for an email service provider? Yep. So we use MailChimp, and we integrate with MailChimp, and we've got a really good, robust product. It starts out at free. It's got very good features. It's intuitive, and for most people, MailChimp is great. It works, gets the job done. Does that answer your question, Lynn? I unmuted you too.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with MailChimp.
Yeah, it's good, and it automatically integrates with our software too. So like when somebody comes to your website and they opt in, boom, it goes into your website software, and then it automatically goes into MailChimp and adds all the tags and all that kind of stuff. So we have it's called an API integration. It just means that it'll save you time.
So when you get above a certain number of collectors on your email list at MailChimp, you have to pay money for that. Do you have to pay extra for that with your service or not?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Okay. And that's just true of any email service. Like, I think MailChimp is like 1,000 subscribers or maybe 5,000 subscribers until you have to start paying.
That's 1,000.
It's 1,000. Yeah, it's a pretty reasonable fee for MailChimp. But at that point, you're happy to pay it because the business is doing well when you get up to that level anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. Have you kept an email list these days?
For another company, I have. Not for this. Not for what I'm working on.
Yeah. Well, don't jettison the one for the other company, because I'll tell you what to do with that. Oftentimes people are like, well, I have this thing for another business, and I don't think I should use it. And no, you shouldn't use it. But guess what? You can take that list, put it up into Facebook as an audience, and show those people ads. I.e., hey, it's me, Lynn. You know me from my other career, but guess what? I'm also an artist. And because you guys know, like, and trust me, I just want to let you know that here's my art business. And guess what? Those people will purchase. So it's still valuable. Don't lose that thing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Keep it. Well, I'll teach you what to do with that if you end up sending them.
Okay.
Or just Google, how to put it. Well, whatever. You got it. All right. Any other questions? I think she already muted. No, you're good. Okay, I muted you. All right. So I've got a question coming in on social. Let's see what it says. Do you guys connect the artists with art collectors, art dealers, and all that? No, we do not. We teach you to market, all year long, and what to do with the collectors. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Art collectors, it's a little vague, but art dealers, yeah. We teach you how to attract those people. It's up to you, Amanda, to correspond with them and the like, and set deals if you're so inclined. Excuse me. Leslie's asking, what is more lucrative, original one-of-a-kind physical paintings or G-clay prints? That's a crystal ball question, Leslie. The premise of that question is flawed, which is there's some sort of magical size or price point or subject material that if you just knew about, that you could bolt into your business and it would work. Not the way it works in the real world. Everybody takes a different journey. Everyone has a different story. There's no magical pricing formula that works for everyone, or media type formula, or sizes, or anything in between. It's a total mixed bag. Okay. R.E. Branch, not to be critical, but your meeting, though interesting, I thought was a little disorganized. Is this stuff presented on your website, and what is your website address? I love critical feedback. No one ever lights me up like that. R.E., are you there? R.E., I'm going to unmute you. Are you there, R.E.? You will need to hit the mic icon in the bottom left-hand corner. I don't think Ari can figure out how to do it. Is this stuff presented on your website? What is the website address? Oh, are you there, Ari?
Still working on trying to find you.
Yep. No, I got you. I love this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Do you know how excited I am? No one ever gives me critical feedback, and I finally got some. I love it. So you
sorry to be a troublemaker.
No, I love it. No one ever pushes back.
Cool.
I love talking a little trash. What did you find to be disorganized about it?
Yeah, just the overall presentation. I think you offer a lot of features, and I've had a Zoom business account for an alternate business for several years, and it's been a great feature for me. I've not used it personally myself, but it's interesting the way to watch you're presenting your services via Zoom, and I think that it's still, though Zoom has been a phenomenal company that's taken off like a rocket the last couple of years or so. I think the idea of any kind of I'm going to say remote selling or contacting people by video is still grossly untapped. It's kind of a virgin area.
Yes.
And just to watch the way you've been presenting has been very interesting. But I can see, and I'm sure other people watching, as they watch it, you can see all kinds of other features that I'll say remote selling, probably via Zoom, offers for any kind of business. That's been very, very interesting to watch. Yeah. And I don't need to monopolize the conference microphone here, but and I'll drop off here unless there are other questions. But I came into the meeting a little late.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll send you the replay.
It's very interesting.
I'll send you the replay afterwards, and you'll get to see kind of what I covered in the beginning. But I spoke specifically to how important video is becoming in one-to-one or a one-to-many fashion. So trust me, I covered that directly, and I totally agree with you. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I won't throw in another. I've had an alternate business for probably before you were a gleam in your father's eye. But I used to always tell customers, give us your feedback. Particularly, if you like our service, let us know.
Always.
On the other hand, if you're critical of our service, we really want to know that, because we can't correct or improve our service unless you let us know. I found a lot of people, they're very sensitive. If you're, say, I want to offer a little criticism here, they get their feelings hurt. Where I think if you listen, it's a great tool to improve your service.
100%.
To listen to feedback.
100%.
Anyway, I'll drop off and let you go ahead and comment.
Yeah. Thanks, Ari. Yeah, 100%. Right. And I so rarely get anyone pushing back on any of my opinions. It's like, let's go. I want to talk about this. I want to debate this. Come on, push back. Tell me I'm wrong. I love hearing that. Natanya, I'll get you, but Vesa, you had your hand up, and then David, I'll grab you afterwards. Okay, Vesa, or how do I pronounce your name? You'll have to unmute Vesa. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep, gotcha.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you got it close. It's Vesa.
Vesa. It's very cool. I've never heard that before in terms of a name.
It's a Finnish-Irish name.
Finnish-Irish. I like it.
Anyway, just have a question about email.
Yeah.
Um, uh, for okay, basically, I'm putting my feet in the shoes of the potential client
Mm-hmm.
who's receiving an email. I've sent like single emails to potential or prior um, buyers,
Mm-hmm.
like just a single email, just to one. Now, I've hesitated to, I got a lot of emails uh, in my file,
Mm-hmm.
and I've hesitated to, and I've seen this done. I've seen where there's like 100 emails um, on the top, and so putting myself in the shoes of any one of these 100 people that are receiving the email, do you think it's a turnoff for them to suddenly see that, there's 99 other people getting the same email, perhaps regarding, here I have 10 artworks for sale, and first person, whatever, gets
Yeah. Yeah.
gets the image.
You're
Gets the image.
you're totally overthinking it. How long have you been stressing on this? Just out of curiosity.
Oh no, I haven't been stressing on it for a long time.
Okay.
It just came up actually yesterday when I was thinking about.
Are you, so if I understand this correctly, you're personally emailing these people, right? And so you're saying
Yeah.
by having the CC there with all their names, you just use a BCC and they'll never know. BCC is blind carbon copy.
Oh, right.
Then it just looks like, Vesa sent it to Vesa, and that's it. They don't even see. They don't see who else gets it. Done. Problem solved.
Maybe I've heard that before. It's called VCC.
B, blind carbon copy.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, I think that answers it.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, that's helpful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. That's about all I got to say.
So. That's all good. It's all good. I'm happy I could help. Charles, I see your hand. I'll get you after David. David, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you.
Fantastic. So I'm familiar with drop shipping. I get the business model on that end with the products and everything. I have a Etsy store that has gone nowhere because ultimately you're 100%. I have a marketing problem.
Yep.
I also have a website problem because I need my own personal website. I'm the guy that, of course, didn't learn the lessons and everything changed underneath my feet and I didn't keep my collector's list and so on and so forth. So I'm building from scratch, so to speak. Do you, on your website side, do you build that out or do you build with me? How does that part of it work?
So the actual website build out, we have a bunch of templates. You pick one, you upload a logo, you put the About Me section in, you upload your pieces and set your prices and your media types, and then you immediately start on marketing. Website process is pretty simple.
And can I drop in from other?
No, there's no importing.
There's no importing.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. You have to do it from scratch. You'll want to anyway because it's setting it up correctly. Like, anytime you do the import, it ends up doing just as much work as if you would have done it from scratch anyway. But it's a pretty simple process. I mean, we're built from the ground up just to sell art, right? And so all the setup and uploading and item creation is really, really easy and sharp contrast to anything that you've done before. Just because we're completely built for art. That's what we do.
And I'm getting help from you doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
And on the marketing side, I've also been doing a little Facebook marketing or Facebook marketplace dropping.
Sure.
And found that to be a good side income, side hustle. If you want to take it seriously, you can make tens of thousands at it, but I'm not on that side of things. I just want that for a little income coming in.
Yep.
But I've realized that it's just a huge untapped marketing within Facebook and using Facebook. And is your university side on the marketing courses that you have going to, teach me all about how to use Facebook marketing to gain more customers and so on?
Yeah, we teach you everything. Teach you how to run a sale. We teach you how to capture emails. We teach you how to email emails. We provide the email copy when you need to email emails. We teach you omni-channel marketing, which is how to make sure your message when it goes out is dovetailing appropriately in all the various different channels, i.e. you're going to announce a sale, you're going to send an email, then a Facebook post, and then an Instagram post, and then an Instagram story. How do you dovetail all of those so that it maximizes and amplifies the message? We teach you seriously every single solitary aspect of marketing, all of it. And it's pretty comprehensive, and this will allow me to answer one of the questions that was behind you as well. It's what sets us apart from everyone else. All we do all day long is try to figure out more and creative ways to sell art and then teach our customers how to do it. Starts with a calendar. It's 365-day-a-year calendar that tells you what to do every single solitary day, week in, week out. We're running a sale this week, so announce the sale this day, start the sale this day. Here's what to do during the sale. Here's what to do after the sale. Here's when you extend the sale. Here's the email copy you use. So the calendar tells you what to do. Whatever the calendar tells you to do, if it's how to post on Facebook, then there's digital education. Do it yourself, read at your own pace. Education, audio, video, this, that, and the other that'll walk you through how to do that. We call them playbooks, and there's a whole entire database of those. But in addition to that, we have Zoom calls just like this. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, week in, week out, where you pop in and we teach.
I've watched you for quite a while now, actually.
Oh, yeah. So but you haven't seen the inside ones because we don't ever publish those
No,
ones.
not yet. I'm going to get the demo.
Yeah, those are just for customers. But don't ever underestimate how important those are because, the digital education is awesome, but nobody ever finishes it, right? Like all the stats from like Masterclass and Kajabi and lynda.com or any of those other ones, 30% of the people that buy the thing never finish the thing. You just bought the course, the ultimate course on Facebook ads for artists. 30% of the people that buy it actually finish the course because it's too hard to learn that way. You can't learn in a vacuum. You have to be going through a classes with people, okay? And it's called cohort based teaching is what they're calling it nowadays, like the buzzword. But the reality is that we put you in a bunch of artists in a room, in a Zoom room. We teach you the thing, and then everyone's asking their questions and getting them answered, and people are reporting back on their wins, and you're getting to know people, and you're going through the same struggle at the same time. And that's a really, really valuable way that actually teaches people what to do. So important one there.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And I realize what Ari was saying about that, and he took the piss out of you a little bit. Sorry if the word and wrong, but
no, that's proper. That's
I think
proper
it's just
English.
because you sound a little scripted sometimes. I've watched a lot of these, and there's a little bit of a scripting to it, and I totally understand that. But I love your directness.
Do you know what's crazy is that there's never been a script. It's all just comes out of my head. No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No, you get a lot of the same things. I imagine those come from the conversations you've had.
Yeah, I mean it's routine at this point, right? Like I do try to mix it up from time to time, but it's never once been scripted.
Wow.
But okay. I do bob and weave. That's interesting you say that though, and trust me, I'm not taking that personally. I think it's interesting. It just shows that you do it 3 days a week, you end up becoming robotic, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But not a bad thing because you hit all the right points. And like I said, I truly appreciate it. It's really given me guidance. I've been searching for literally to put some of the little money I have left to build myself and take this leap finally from the hobbyist to making a profession out of it. And in that search, I've bought too many damn things that don't work.
I know.
And I'm at the point where I'm really shy about pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
But really, in finding you guys, I'm back to the point where I'm ready again, so to speak, and finding somebody and people who are actually behind the artist and not behind the money they're making.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't make any money. You guys can't make any money without us, and we can't make money without you either.
Oh, it goes even further than that. Like we realized early on in the process that if we were just going to be like a website software company, we were going to fail miserably because unless you have successful customers, you don't have a business. So, we grow as a business when we have successful customers, and it's unique in the sense that it actually does create a symbiotic relationship, right? I mean, it's our or your or in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, trying to get things going. And we have, in terms of website software, there's a metric called churn. Churn is essentially just people that cancel. And we have one of the lowest churns that anyone's ever seen in software because no one ever leaves. And what's cool is that we're constantly delivering more and more and more value, and you don't pay anything additional for it at all. Like we're constantly adding new services, new thises, new that's, and it's because we need them to make our customers more successful, right? Like, I go back to the live art show thing, and it's a terrifying thing to run a live art show. art show. Terrifying, right? Like, I'm going to be on video. I'm going to have to talk about price. I mean, these are terrifying
I'm
things
freaking
for
out because
artists.
I'm here right now.
Yes. And it's really, really hard to get people to do that. And we got into one position where we just started running them for our customers for free for like 50 of them because we wanted to test the premise of teach a man to fish, right? You know, teach a man to fish, and that whole biblical parable, they'll do it on their own.
I use it to this day.
Yeah, and it totally works. And now a bunch of people are taking off and doing them on their own. And it's like all they needed was just that little push. It's like you're right up at the edge of the cliff, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna go, and then you need someone to push you, you know, and that's what it is. So
It sounds like you're really built in like a trusted support system for us, you know.
Massive.
And that's what I'm looking for. Somebody we can trust again.
Has to be. It's trust, yeah, but it's actually accountability more than anything else. Because
right, along with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's like, why aren't you marketing this week? You don't get to take a week off. You have to give me 52 weeks a year, and then we reevaluate and we look at the numbers, and then 52 weeks the next year, right? And that's
as a former Marine, it seems like it's give me more push-ups.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's the analogy I use a lot of times, right? Like we teach artists to be able to do 100 push-ups in one sitting. And I don't know if you could still do that. You could do that back in your day, but guess what? That took, a heck of a lot of practice to get there, didn't it? Right?
Right.
You know,
and sure did.
And that's the same case for us. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. All right, Charles, you're up next. Go ahead, Charles. And I'll let you know when you, yep, gotcha.
Okay, unmute.
Yep, gotcha.
Okay, number one, as a former Army guy, I just said give me 20, not 100.
Yep.
Now, I appreciate a Marine. They do all the hard work. My background, I'm an analog guy in the digital world.
Yeah.
And so when you start talking about websites and all that, I do have free websites, including one on Facebook. They turn a lot of numbers, but no sales.
Yeah.
So obviously I agree. It's not a website problem. It's a marketing problem.
Yep.
One of the questions I have, the main question I have is where to begin. You have a lot of different customers at different levels of experience. You're going to have to hold hands of people like myself who are just getting in the front door and haven't even sat down yet.
Yes.
So how do you handle that? It could be daunting.
We have really, really good and responsive support, and that's how we handle it. I mean, 6 days a week, you can jump into a Zoom call with support, and they'll get you unstuck, and they'll get you going. And then, like I said, the cohort-based learning, meaning you're going through this whole process of learning how to do this new stuff with people that are in the exact same boat that you are, and that's a really nice way to do it, right? Because you end up forming relationships with the folks that are struggling with the same things that you are. You end up helping each other along as you go. And also our support at this juncture is very, very competent at, you know, explaining tech to Luddites, for a lack of a better term, right? Like, you know, all of this stuff is so brand new to you, and it's really hard to learn. And, you know, when you don't grow up in that culture of constantly playing with it and constantly doing restarts and just unafraid to press the buttons and do everything else, it's a learning curve. It just is. You know, it's like anything else, though. If you have the desire, you can tackle it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. How old are you, Charles? How old are you, Charles? How old are you? How old are you? Just out of curiosity.
84.
84. See, I mean, you have to appreciate the perspective thing that I said. Like, you have a whole ton of art selling time left. I mean, that's an amazing concept. Like, how long have you been selling your art as an artist?
Not long. I do 1 or 2 shows a year, and I sell a few things to friends. But I hate doing shows.
Yeah.
And so I just reached the point. I've been retired for 25 years.
Amazing.
And I've been doing art. And I've just reached the point where I said, well, look, I've got all this stack of stuff. Let's see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
And I know that if it's all a question of finding a qualified buyer.
Yes.
And that's the hard part.
Yes.
Facebook, for example, I'm on Facebook. I'm turning big numbers.
Yeah.
I'm getting 4.5% link clicks. But I don't think they're qualified because nothing happens after that.
Yep.
I'm sending them to an ArtPal website that I have set up where they can do framing and all this stuff, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Other than they go to the frame shop, and a few of them go to the cart, but they don't buy.
Yep. Yep.
So that tells me it's a marketing problem.
Yep. Yep. And you can't trust any of the metrics that any of those things give you. Like,
I believe that. I
Yeah.
believe that
yeah. Yeah.
because they don't add up. If I compare ArtPal numbers to Facebook numbers, there's a big disconnect.
Yes. Stated another way, if I jumped in the car right now, Charles, drove to your house, picked you up, drove you down to the ATM, show me the button on the ATM for likes, comments, shares, click-through rate. Everyone tells me my art is great, right? Like, it doesn't exist for a reason. The only thing that matters is the almighty dollar. Did the work sell?
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. But I love the continued drive, and we can definitely help you. But you're going to have to learn some new tricks.
Oh, I'm open to that.
Yeah. Old Army guy would get it done for sure, I think.
Maybe.
Maybe. I love it. All right. Well, thanks for the questions, Charles.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Christina had a marketing question, but her camera's on and she's gone, so I'll wait and see if she pops back. You're getting some love from YouTube, Charles. I might as well put this up for you. So the recording creative said he's awesome, has more websites than me, and I'm half his age. Yeah, which is pretty classic. Okay, Christina, you had a question. I'm unmuting you. Let me go back and find your question, or do you want to just ask it again?
I can ask it again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. So the marketing help that's included, is it really just educational? And so then we have to go off and do it all ourselves, or is there anything that's included?
Yeah. So
that you guys do?
Most of it is educational, I would say. And, so much of this business fundamentally is about all year long. It doesn't change year after year after year. Normal marketing, sale, normal marketing, sale, normal marketing, sale, normal marketing, sale. The year repeats, you do it again, right? So there's a whole bunch in there that we teach you how to do, all the various different aspects, this, that, and the other. We realize that a whole heck of a lot of artists don't want to do any of that. And so we do have an in-house marketing agency that you can pay for some of these services. And things like running your Facebook ads, running a sale campaign for you, sprucing up your Instagram, sprucing up your Facebook. I have a dog that annoys me like that too, so don't worry.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't worry. So we have a service, but ultimately you want to learn how to do this. You're going to be doing this for the rest of your life. You need to learn how to do it. Once you do learn how to do it, it becomes easier. It becomes routine. You get better at it. And like I said, like fundamentally, this business is about normal marketing, sale, normal marketing, sale. I alluded to earlier, I have like all the data on who's doing the best, right? And aside from legacy people that have come in, meaning, they were really popular in their hometown, or they have a famous last name, or, they have a quirky product or whatever, that the numbers just don't apply to them. By which I mean, like, I will audit a customer. I will see how many sales that they ran in a particular year, and that will be directly proportional to the income that they make, right? Aside from those legacy people, which they just don't make sense because they did something earlier in their career that they're water skiing on now. How good you are running the sales and how often you're running the sales in the collector list are the two most important items in an art business, full stop. And I get a ton of pushback on that all the time. Excuse me. Patrick, running sales cheapens my work. I don't want to run sales. I'll never run sales, right? And the only brand, two of them that I'm aware of that never has a sale, is Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. Everyone else has sales. Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's doesn't. Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's is merging, by the way. I find that ironic. And then not only that, the higher up you go up the art selling scale, and let's say the minute that you get over pieces that are $25,000 a piece and higher, the sheer amount of negotiation that goes down on those sales is staggering. Yeah. High net worth individuals did not get there by paying retail. So anyway, all of that's to say, that's the biggest difference between us and the other products. Any of the other ones that you look at is the continued, never stops, ongoing education, and it's what you need. It's what you have to have. Like, have you run a live art show yet, Christina?
No, I haven't.
So you need to learn how to do that.
So then as far as like Facebook ads, help doing that, you guys obviously have tried and, proven methods on how to really engage and capture the right audience for those ads.
Yes. We teach you how to do all of that.
Okay.
Every single solitary step of it. And, you know, Facebook and Instagram are the two most important platforms for selling art right now, full stop, right? There's a lot of people that like them, love them, hate them. I understand that, but it's where all the attention is, and that's what we need. So, you know, we have to be contrarian about it. Now, we sort of have rules on the Facebook ads. Everybody wants to jump into the Facebook ads right away. Not a good idea to do until you sold at least a couple $1,000s directly off of your website. I don't know if you're in that boat or if you're not. If you are, then you're ready to start warm ads immediately. But, you know, the dirty little secret about Facebook and Instagram ads specifically, and this is an important one, and one distinction before I tell the story. There's two types of targeting on Facebook. There's cold and there's warm, okay? Let's just use the relationship example. Let's say you walked into a bar and you didn't know a single solitary person. They'd never met you, never heard about you, didn't know you have a dog, you know, don't know anything about your art. That's cold, okay? That's cold. We don't recommend doing that on Facebook. Warm are you walk into that bar and there's everything from someone you met last weekend that just knows your first name to people that know everything about you, that grew up with you, and everything in between. That's a warm audience. Where does a warm audience come from? People that have visited your website, people that have purchased from you, people that are on your email list, people that have engaged with your Instagram comment. Collectively, all of that is the warm audience, okay? Now I'm going to tell you the thing that's sort of a mind bender. Facebook and Instagram have a free plan and they have a paid plan. No one knows about the paid plan. It's not published anywhere. You can't go somewhere and just magically buy it. What it does, what the paid plan is taking Instagram and Facebook back to the good old days. What were the good old days? You remember when you would follow someone and see 100% of their posts, and they would follow you and see 100% of your posts? So too with Instagram, those days are long gone, right? For somebody that follows you, and I don't mean personal pages, I mean business pages. For someone that follows you, they see perhaps close to like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5% of your posts, okay? Running warm ads on Facebook and Instagram, okay, no, doing this correctly, is the paid plan for Facebook and Instagram. And all it does is take us from where we are now back to the good old days, which means some large portion of your audience, anywhere from 85 to 100% of the people that follow you, will start seeing your posts, okay? So if you're doing your regular marketing all year long, this is the best part of this one. If you're doing your regular marketing all year long, meaning regular marketing sale, you turn on warm ads, and it's no different than the cable bill at your house, okay? It is something that you pay on a daily basis. You start and you don't ever stop. It's like a $10 a day bill, and it never goes away. You just keep going. So that's the abstraction, the way to think about it.
Okay. All right. I think that's it.
Okay. What kind of dog do you have? Because now I'm curious.
A border collie mix.
Border collie mix. Nice. Good dog, though? Good dog?
Yeah, she's getting there. She was a rescue. So the first year was untraining her.
Yeah.
Which was very difficult. Yeah. And now we're finally training. So
good. Well, God bless you.
Smart dog.
Yeah. God bless you for doing the rescue thing too. It's awesome. Okay. Good questions. Yeah, we can definitely help you. Yeah. What else? Where was I? Further questions. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I got you, Charles. Charles got a follow up. And then David, did you have your hand up again? I can't tell if you did. Nope, you're good. Okay. Charles, you're up. You'll have to unmute again, Charles.
Okay, I'm up now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha.
One thing, you're talking about Facebook, and I do have a Facebook business page.
Good.
And I have noticed you're talking about warm and cold. I started out cold. It was only a month ago, but my link click percentage is slowly increasing.
Yes.
Which does tell me that there must be some warm people that are coming back.
Yes.
Let's check this guy out. Let's check this guy out. I think that's what's happening, because it's gone from 2.5% to 4.5% over the course of a month.
Yeah. Don't hang your hat on those metrics. I mean, you can look at them briefly. It's okay. What ends up happening is, you know, if you take your Facebook marketing seriously, there's an overall internal score that Facebook gives it, an engagement score, for lack of a better term. And if it looks like people are liking and commenting and having robust action on your Facebook page, then Facebook ends up showing your post to more people, which will increase your metrics.
Okay, yeah. It's a very difficult site to negotiate.
You better believe it. You better believe it. I'm supposed to be an expert at it, and every day it changes for me. It annoys me. Makes me want to.
They do change every day.
I know.
That's not good customer relations.
No, it's not. But thankfully, they don't care about that. So Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Put Charles on mute. Okay. So where was I? Okay. I said normal marketing sale, normal marketing sale, normal marketing sale to just underscore that. Traditionally in non-COVID times, the fourth quarter is the biggest art selling time of the year. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of that. We have a large portion of our customer base, non-COVID times, that would sell more in the fourth quarter than the other three combined. Not even close. So why am I bringing that up? It's going to sound cynical. I don't care if you sign up with us or not. But understand that the marathon is coming, which is Q4. And you need to start doing your warm-up runs now. You need to get your art up on a website. Obviously, we can help you with that if you want to sign up with us. If not, get your art up on a website such that you can start making sales, start working on your marketing so you can warm up your audiences and be ready for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, end of the year sales, because so much art is moved and it doesn't matter who it is, you can take advantage of this. The people that win are the people that actually get a doggone sale in the water, okay? And so few people do. So few people do. So it's coming. We are starting to bang the drum on this nonstop like we do every single solitary year because you need some time to get everything going, rocking and rolling in time so that you're set up and you can take advantage. So very, very important thing to contemplate there. You know, Q4 is coming, Game of Thrones version, winter is coming, very, very important. And you know, the one thing that I would say too is, and I was sort of looking at this, you know, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom guy, okay? I'm an optimist to my core. But if you look at, number one, what COVID did last year, okay? Number two, the fact that everyone's talking about this Delta variant, like nonstop, right? I do believe if this Delta variant goes crazy, and I'm also in Southern California where, you know, 1 hour north of me, they're doing a mask mandate again in Los Angeles, indoors, which is just crazy. But why do I bring this all up? I bring this all up to say, you know, and I'm going to share my screen so I can show this because this is I think important. So hold on, where am I? So I pulled this. No, I don't want to be on that. Oh, I see what I got to do. Just bear with me. I want to show you this. So, you know, everyone's talking about the scary Delta variant, right? And I was looking at this today. It'll load. Hold on. My wife got me addicted to looking at this website sometimes, the Daily Mail. They do a good job. Where's my graph? Yeah, so you look at this,
we go
right?
now to former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb, who is on the board of Pfizer and joins us from Westport, Connecticut. Good morning, Dr. Gottlieb.
There's nothing worse than autoplay.
Good morning.
But look at this, right?
So the CDC director said this week that that there is an epidemic of the unvaccinated.
Boo, autoplay.
What's your reaction to that?
All right,
Well, look, when you look at the people who've been hospitalized, 97% of the hospitalizations are in people who are unvaccinated.
Anyway, I'm going to talk over him for 2 seconds because I can't find it. The November, December, January, February, where the COVID cases just like spiked like crazy, right?
Has been fully vaccinated. Probably another third of the American population has been previously infected with this virus. So many people aren't susceptible to the virus, but if 25% of the population remains susceptible to the virus, in absolute terms, that's still a lot of people. And this virus is so contagious.
Oh, that was so annoying. Anyway, the point is, if this year follows last year, Indian Delta version, this, that, and the other, you want to be prepared, right? And what happened last year, okay, is you had a whole lot of people that were reliant on the old school, the old-fashioned ways of doing things, the online fairs and shows, you know, the circuit or the retail galleries. All of a sudden, COVID hit, and they had nothing. They had no email list to market to. They had no collector list to market to. They hadn't done any marketing at all. And you had that on one hand. On the other hand, you had people spending more time at home than at any other time in history. And as such, they finally got so bored with their white walls, they were willing to do something about it. They were willing to upgrade, right? And so, like everything in the home decor category, art and photography started selling like crazy. So you had a time of all-time high demand in the smallest supply that's ever existed, okay? So you had these situations where it's like people wanted art and photography for their walls, everyone's pouring a bunch of money into their houses, and then all the traditional places to get it are closed. Show and fair circuit, nope. All the retail galleries closed. So if we get some variation of that again, God forbid, but you know, this Delta variant sounds scary. I believe that there's going to be a bunch of people at home again, and the art demand is going to be there, and the people that are prepared to market, just like the people that were prepared to market ahead of COVID, had record years in sales. So whether you look through the lens of Q4 is coming, or you're a pessimist doomsdayist, a little bit like me, and terrified that this COVID thing is going to come back, I think it's going to be an extremely big Q4. I think that there is time between now and then to get your art up on a website, get marketing, and be ready to roll. So that's what I would say. Yeah, I'm excited about what the rest of the year portends, and especially the live video. Natanya, what's the difference between us and all the other sites is we teach you to market all year long. You don't have a website problem. You have a marketing problem. None of the rest of them work on it even slightly at all. So, you know, you can have your art anywhere on any website you want. It's not going to fundamentally change your business. Natanya, you do not have a website problem. You have a marketing problem. And until you solve that, the business is never going to grow. So that's the long and the short of what we do. The biggest game changer of it all. So, all right. Final questions? Anyone? I'll do some rudimentary announcements, and if anyone has any other ones, they can raise their hands digitally or otherwise, or throw it in the chat. I would say if you're just finding out about us, don't worry about it. We're going to be around. I'm going to whack you with my ads for the next 30 days at a minimum anyway. You'll see me nonstop every time you come onto the socials. But if you are, you know, if anything today piqued your interest and you're like, okay, these guys might know what they're talking about, they could help my business, highly recommend you schedule a demo. It'll run about an hour. You'll get to see all the bells and whistles of the software, all the stuff that I didn't cover, understand the pricing, the print on demand, everything else that we do. That's just too long for one of these presentations. And at the end of it, if you're over it, cool. They won't ever call you again. If it's something you're interested in doing, there's plenty of time for you to get live, get going on your marketing, and still have an incredible Q4. We also have some big announcements, you know, coming up here pretty soon. So that's what I got. That's my story. Sticking to it. Any final questions? Anyone? Somebody thought of something last minute? Patrick, what about? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay. Well, everybody have a great rest of your week. Thanks for hanging out today. Thought it was a great session. Enjoyed spending time with you guys. And yeah, hope to see you on another one soon. Bye, guys.